I was having issues. What's new? Oh boy, if I told you guys what I was doing, you would be like, really? Really? So, like, I had my headphones plugged in, right? And I was like waiting, I was listening to the audio, and I'm like, I don't hear it. And then I'm like, why can't I hear it? So then I'm going through my computer settings, stupid StreamYard, and I'm like, okay, the audio is not working. And so then I'm like, what is it? What is it? What is it? I'm like checking, checking, checking. And then finally I realized like I just had the volume all the way down my computer. I don't know why I didn't find that in the settings. But anyways, we're back. I'm 3 minutes away from finishing the text from the previous live. Yes, we meet again. We do. I know. I'm back to back, baby. Back to back. Whoa. Let me go back in the comments. Hello, welcome back. We just did a live on the Anna Kepner case. Hello, welcome. Hello, viewers, subscribers, friends, babelets, replay viewers, haters, most of all of you. Welcome back. I am Melly. We're back into Mackenzie. We're going to, we have a lot going on here. There's a lot going on. I think you guys might get sick of me in the near future. There's a lot going on. We have a second channel coming. I'm now available more. I'm just going to be all up in your face. We're going to be covering old cases, new cases, cold cases. We're going to be doing the second channel. At the second channel, we like to shake our ass, do makeup, cook, eat, go out. It's going to be a ton of Melly. And I hope you guys are okay with that. So with that being said, please, please, please hit the like button. Yes. Valerie's telling me I can't wait to give you guys my birthday list. Vintage Balenciaga, vintage Chanel, Versace flats, and Skims. That's funny. You guys thought we were done. No, no, no. We're never done with Kenzie. Today, we're starting the interviews and we are also doing the text babes. Don't you guys worry. We're here for it. I mean, at this point, I might as well just go make myself an inmate at the Ohio Reformatory because you know what? We have covered Kenzie so much. At this point, I think we know everything we need to know about her. Um, anyways, thank you guys for being here. Today, we are going to be covering the interview with Miss Russo. Miss Russo is Dom's mom. And there's 2 videos that we're going to cover with Miss Russo, not 2 today, unless I have dinner, but we might because there's too much. There's too much. There's too much. Too much. I'm going to be going live during the day too. You get me in the morning now. You get me during the day. You're going to get me in the evenings. You're going to get me in the nights. Why, Melly? I will tell you that on the second channel. I think we need to talk about that. It's a more personal discussion, but we are going to be doing a Melly After Dark. It might be the last After Dark on this channel until we move them over to the second channel. So the second channel is going to be like more like After Dark stuff, type stuff. So anyways, we're going to do an After Dark as well. So there's a lot going on. Please, please, please hit the like button. I know it's annoying, but sometimes, but you know, it really helps channels. It's a free, great way to support. It helps us push us out into the algorithm. And I'm trying to get to 15K by the end of now. So with that being said, let's get started. This interview is between Miss Russo and the police. And then I do have another video where she ends up finding out about Dom. I don't know how long this one will be, so I might split it into 2. I know some of you guys like that long live stuff, but don't worry. We're going to be doing the long lives during the day. I will be covering trials, etc. I mean, whatever you want me to do, babes, let me know. Drop it in the comments. I have a list of cases that I'm going to be covering from the previous After Darks. So there's a lot. I have like 13 lives ready to go. Just get ready for it. We're going to be covering everything. So with that being said, I will shut the fuck up and let me pull up the call. This is between, does it say? No, it just says police. Speak with Dominic Russo's mother, Christine Russo. Some parts are silent. This is just audio, hence why we're doing it in a vertical. It's audio only, no video. There is a silent portion, redacted at the 11 marks. Shout out to Plunder. I've been using her stuff because my old videos has talking over it. So we're going to redo it all over again. And not that I know of, she hasn't filed a recent appeal. I know that's a long intro. Sorry, I'm like long-winded. WTF vlog, Tippy, I see you. Mallory, okay. Carrie Mills, Cuff You, thank you. Monica, thank you. Babelets for being Cuff You's counting down. Green-eyed, hello, Babelets. Beautifully broken toots, hello. I saw Joker. I saw Monica. Conspicuous. I give you 2 minutes to fix the text issues. Oh yeah, we do have a live for Mr. Steve Shirilla that I had scheduled for later. It just depends what time I get dinner or what. Yeah, basically what time I get dinner or done with, if I may. If it's early enough to do the text and then do an after dark, I will. If not, don't worry, Babelets. We will do them in the morning. Allegedly, hello. Thank you for being here. Hey, Kara. Hey, Nancy B. And I saw Debbie pop in here. Sunburn Rocks. Okay, I know. So get ready. This is an audio interview. Yes, I'm interested in this case. I have like a million lives ready to go, and one of them is Brian Koberger. I really am obsessed with that case. I haven't been doing many lives on it, but like that's like my bedtime stuff that I've been reading a lot lately. So I've been wanting to get back into Brian Koberger and a bunch of other cases that I have not mentioned here. That one is definitely one of them. So thank you for recommending that. Are you getting Lucas? Yes, I am getting Lucas. It's going to be delicious. Yes. I do want to cover that. I also just requested transcripts for something going on right now too that I think I do want to cover. Court transcripts. So we'll see. Second channel, yes, I am keeping secrets. Second channel, it's basically ready to go. I just need to upload a new profile pic. Yes, I am that petty, vain, maybe, but I want to make sure I have a new profile pic on this channel and then that one as well. So let's get into the interview. This is Miss Russo, and it's sad for us. It's sad. We love Miss Russo here. I wish Miss Russo would come hang out at Mellyverse because we love her and we don't love stinky ass Kenzie. And thank you, Beautifully Broken Toots, again for gifting 5 memberships. You are the bomb. Thank you. I appreciate you. Anton is here singing to me. It's exactly what I like. Amanda, Holly, and Jeffrey, Jeff, and who else? And another Jeff. Okay, thank you for becoming members. Well, thanks to Beautifully Broken Toots for making you a member, actually. Welcome all new members. Thank you, love. I appreciate that. It's really nice to support the channel if you can, because, it's just one of those things. Hi, everyone. Hello, Lisa Marie. Yeah, I do want to cover that one too. I've gone through every document on the Idaho case, and I have a lot of questions. Okay, well, we're going to go through them here. David update. I actually had a David update planned for tonight, but I'm like, will we get through all of it? Will we get through a text reading and the the David, not David, D4DVD, now Brian. I'm thinking Brian Koberger. Whoa, I'm getting them all mixed up. Okay. Let's get started. Let me share. Okay, yes, this will work. We're going to share this screen audio interview with Miss Russo. She talks about Mackenzie wannabe model. You know. If you're not familiar with the Kenzie case, I do have a playlist. We just finished almost 32,000 pages of reading, which I will chew my own horn. I'm a little impressed with myself, I must say. Anyways, okay, let's go on. Enough of me being... Can you guys hear this? Let me know if you can hear it too, by the way, because I was having audio issues.
So we...
Can you guys hear it okay? He said, and it's body cam. Yes, no, maybe so. I'm a BK expert. Okay. I know you are, Cuffy. You sent me some of the documents we're going to be reading. So shout out to you. Appreciate you. Hello, Augie. Yes. Please hit the like button. We can. Okay. Rather low. Ooh, that might be something I can't fix. Pop in your earbuds. Pop them in. I'm so happy to be here. Yes, I am happy you are here too. Sorry, Jamie. No, I'm saying pop in your earbuds. Hey, ATS, what's up, girl? Thanks for being here. Okay, it's like about an hour interview, so play again. Okay, let's go.
We have, I don't know when was the last time you talked to Tim, the prosecutor? It's been a while. Okay. So right now we have served a total of 11 search warrants. We have received almost returns on half of them. Not everything. The doc screen, we haven't received that yet, but we did get some information on the car. And the car is normal. There were no defects. We had a forensic mechanic look it over. There were no issues whatsoever with that. Also, medically, pursuant to 2 search warrants, there is nothing to indicate that Mackenzie at the time of the crash or immediately before the crash had any type of medical condition that would have caused the crash.
So he's basically like the POTS thing, her being, having that condition. No, it's not playing a factor into this.
At this point, we're waiting for the tox screen to look at whether it's OVI related or something else. Now, when you and I talked before in the first time, you indicated that you thought this wasn't just an OVI, that there was something else.
She told me just the other day that they weren't fucked up. I asked her, why didn't you ask me to come get you? And she said, we weren't fucked up or anything, quote unquote. I don't have it in writing. I only have it orally said to me at the cemetery. So that's what she said.
Do you still believe that theory that there was something more sinister than, any type of impairment involved?
The only thing that to me, I don't know if there's a lot of rumors. I think a lot of people are lying about things. My understanding from one of the kids that the dad that you talked to that stated that she was sleeping and all that and all, I don't even know if that dad was there.
He wasn't. The dad was in New York.
So so I don't know how he could state that, but
he's getting that from his son's statement.
Right.
Okay.
And the son, the kid came here, in fact, in this exact room with the parents, and the kid said he went to sleep.
Okay.
But
no, I thought they said Kenzie was sleeping.
Yeah, the kid said he went to sleep at 1. He woke up around 3 to use the bathroom, and she was asleep.
Yeah, if the audio is hard to hear, that's just how it is. I know. Try to turn up your volume. I'm sorry. It is a body cam audio interview or whatever. So maybe pop it in earbud. I'm so sorry.
Everybody else was watching South Park, and so unfortunately that we haven't been able to corroborate because everybody who was at the party is very uncooperative and they practically lawyered up and refusing to talk. The only kid who voluntarily talked to us from Dominic and Mackenzie's friends was Blair, and Blair spoke to me in the presence of his lawyer, and he wasn't very forthcoming, and I kind of put that in my report. I told him, Ms. Russo said you're one of Dominic's best friends.
Well, he said that you sat there and thought that they were going to all commit suicide together. That's ridiculous.
No, we did not say that. That's
Mr. So's like, no. Oh my gosh, this goes back to the text messages we last read from Dom. Remember, Dom was like, why would I try to do that? Why would I try to kill all of us? Like, he was like, no. So there goes that.
That's what we said. We asked him if he knew. I was inquiring whether he had any information that, Dominic might have told him, like, hey, Kenzie's crazy. She might have done this, or she might have, I'm afraid for my life with her.
You should talk to my son, Angelo. I mean, that's the problem. She threatened him constantly. I told you it was 1 week before we had to pick him up on the highway when she threatened to crash the car then.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy because remember we were talking about this on the text messages. She's bringing up the incident where she already had threatened Dom once.
Okay. It's not, I was on with Dom. She sat there and texted me. Dom was out of control. Dom was very calm. Said, Mom, you need to come get me. Kenzie's threatening to crash the car.
We did see those.
Yeah, that's one of the things we wanted to bring up was that text conversation between you and her, and then her and Dom. We got two sides of it. Did Dom tell you that he grabbed the wheel and jerked it like she alleged?
No,
Okay, so when you're on the phone with Dom, to your knowledge, he never grabbed the wheel. It was just her freaking out.
right, they were on the side of the road, and she
Okay.
said, I'm calling the police if you don't get him, and I said, I'm on the phone saying she can call the police all she wants, but we are on our way, what are the police gonna do,
Mhm.
okay? So, that was that, they were on the side of the road.
What
They were
started
not
that
driving.
fight? You don't know.
The
And I
suicide.
didn't get involved just because I always said that I don't want to have my kids not, or think that I don't like her, I didn't like her or whatever, so that they wouldn't, be able to come to me. I just said, Dom, I know you're gonna get.
Oh my God, Miss Russo just answered the question we've all been wondering. We're like, why doesn't she get involved in their fights? Because she's like, I wanted to respect them, to respect the relationships and stuff, which is understandable. I mean, what control did she have? Kenzie was a crazy bitch. Like, what did we expect? What was Miss Russo going to do other than call the police on her? You know what I mean? Like, Kenzie was out of control. Out of control.
Back together, I'm not getting in the middle, I just said, no, all I kept saying was, there never should be fighting in the car, that's all I said, you don't
Right,
fight in the
right.
car, okay? And I didn't even in detail read her bullshit and her rants, cause I don't really give a shit what she had to say at that point.
So just to clarify, me looking into the possibility that there was a potentially suicide involved on her behalf, not just recklessness, is based on the presumption that there was something more sinister than an OVI. And I kind of got that from you. I consider you to be more reliable than the average, given your profession and the fact that you kind of are experienced within the legal system. So when you tell me, hey, this is not just an OVI, I'm gonna give it some more thought. And so I was hoping that some of the friends would say, hey, yeah, you know what? Dom did in private text me, that hey, she's crazy, she tried to do this, and maybe Blair just doesn't want to
Dom's
talk.
not a real, you have to understand, he doesn't do a lot of social media, he doesn't do a lot of texting, even him and I, it's more on the phone where you pick up the phone and talk. So he would not be texting from that. I do know, which again would be hearsay, that Blair said that she has driven crazy before, he never liked her driving. I asked him if he had gotten into that.
I asked and he
Maybe
said
he
once.
misunderstood. Well, I don't know that Dom drove a lot. Dom was a very safe, slow driver. I mean, so not that he hasn't gotten a speeding ticket here and there on the highway. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But after my surgery, it was a lot easier for me to drive with him than my other son. Just because I was in so much pain, and he was just really more like an old man driving than, Angelo. So, and not anything against Ange, but that's just, he's more jerky of a driver,
fair
than
enough.
Dom was. It could be the vehicle too, but.
When I asked those questions to Blair, first of all, Blair was very off. Clearly, his mom with the attorney were, we had the interview at the attorney's house, which is a bit unusual. But I asked him if he was a passenger ever with Mackenzie driving. He said once. I'm like, I kind of found that hard to believe.
Blair said he had only been in the car once with Kenzie, you guys. I kind of believe that, right? After the text messages, but I don't actually kind of believe that. Ooh, and Blair didn't want to interview with them? The bestie?
That you've only driven once, and I asked him if he had any concerns about his safety, because again, other people have said, or through the rumor mill, we got the whole idea that she's a reckless driver. Some kids didn't feel safe with her, including her best friend Rosie, who her dad wouldn't let us, talk to her. She wouldn't talk to us. Landon Turner wouldn't talk to us. All these people who were at the party that night, with the exception of Paul Burlinghouse, nobody else is talking. And all of them kind of either involved their parents and or lawyers. And so we're kind of, at this point, the prosecutor, I did let Tim know, and Tim took their names, and chances are they're going to be subpoenaed for a grand jury.
None of the friends wanted to talk because they were like, what are we going to say? We were over there eating shrooms and getting high as fuck. Like, you know what I mean? That's why they go to their parents and their attorneys, because they were partying with Kenzie and Dom. They were probably scared.
And so, are they going to talk? Yeah, eventually they're going to talk. Maybe not to me, but they're going to have to answer some questions to Tim, and we're relaying all that
How does that
information.
work with juveniles? Are these juveniles?
No, they're 18 now.
Okay,
Yes, they're off to college. So Rosie's in OU.
It seemed like Mackenzie was one of the younger friends in that group, and she turned like 3 days after the accident.
Right.
So I think everybody else had turned just before her.
Right. So, I'm not gonna lie to you. They're the parents are also, some of the parents don't want to get in the middle of this, but I think these kids who are at the Burling house that night have important information to tell us.
Yeah, none
What
of
was
them are, and you have to realize Dom and Davion went because of Kenzie.
Right.
They're-
Right.
I mean, well, Davion might have known the people because he just graduated, but
We know Kenzie and Rosie planned that night because
Right.
Rosie and Burlinghouse are like best friends.
Oh.
Kenzie and Rosie planned that night to go out that night. And Rosie doesn't want to talk. Wait, what? That's crazy. So they got invited and then Rosie and Kenzie planned it all? Like to go?
okay.
So they were
So I
there
mean-
on behalf of
Right,
Mackenzie.
so
So
I mean, he
Dom
wouldn't
was
be
tagging
friends
along,
with- Right,
right,
yeah, exactly.
And Dom was tagging along. So we are, we did ask those questions, and again, nobody's willing to talk. It's all hearsay. Hey, so and so says, Kenzie is a bad driver. We never want to be in the car with her. But
A couple of people. told us
nobody
that, but
came up and said 1, 2, 3. We had 4 or 5 people who came in voluntarily, gave statements, and they were good statements. But the people we wanted to talk to, they kind of put up those roadblocks. So I noticed that there were some text exchanges between you and Mackenzie, and a lot of times, at some point there was some "I love you" exchanges. So maybe she felt comfortable. But can you tell me what the relationship was like? What between Dom and Kenzie?
Well, Dom was kind of more private with me regarding their arguments, but my son Angelo said that she would threaten him all the time.
How old's Angela now?
23 or 24.
Okay. And Chris is 26?
6, yeah. And how this all came up, so the background. I didn't like.
Oh, it's redacted here. Sorry, don't trip out. It's redacted for a couple of seconds.
Being upset, and
Oh, she's crying. It gets redacted here for like a minute. I don't know why.
Because you didn't
and she
feel
was
like
always
she was
right, and
yeah.
she came over for holidays, and they'd include me and
She's crying.
things like that, and I just figured maybe she just needs to grow up. She's young. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
don't think that it's gonna come to this.
What did
I've heard this before and I'm shook. After reading those text message, everything is different. Everything is different in my brain. She genuinely believed Kenzie was crazy, but that she needed to grow up.
what were your vibes? Your
She had no idea it would turn into this.
motherly instincts. What did you feel around Kenzie, especially in the presence of Dominic? Was she genuine, or
She was everything that you can tell by her. Everything's all about her, if you notice. Prom pictures. Every single time we try to get a picture, she's all over my son, so I can't even get one without her in it.
Yeah.
He catered to her. She claimed she had a gluten-free problem or something, and I would make dinner, and then I would be questioned on, was the stuff okay for her diet because her stomach, and if I didn't have everything that would have complied with her stomach diet, whatever it was. I never believed it.
No GMOs. Remember, guys, no GMOs. She was like, I don't eat GMOs. So it sounds she had Miss Russo manipulated as well. I'm screaming.
He would cook for her separate, always. And she's a slob. She never cleaned. Her mother's house is a slob. My house isn't the greatest either. But I'm just saying, it's just, you know, if Dom's gonna cook for you, do the dishes. Clean up after yourself. Do you know what I mean? That sort of a thing. But everything was always about her. I mean, like I said, even with her parents. I want you to know that her aunt works for Doug, Brill, Mill. I have to ask David. I'm not sure exactly what the lawyer's name is. It's a Lorraine County lawyer, but she's the one that set up the GoFundMe.
She
Yeah,
works
we're
for
aware of
them.
that.
Okay.
Yes, so while Mackenzie was in the hospital, they were already making up stories.
Right, right.
Okay, as to what happened.
Mhm.
With the deer, the epilepsy, the seizure, down to a bunch of other stuff. I had not breathed a word about the mushroom story, not a word to anybody, but I had already heard, oh, well, those had to be Dom's because she was a
No.
juvenile and she was holding his drugs because she was a juvenile. If anybody knows Dom, Dom would take a hit before he would put somebody else in harm's way.
Wow. Wow. Like, yeah, unbelievable. As I listen to this, yeah, again. It seriously is so different when you listen to the text messages listening to this. I've already covered this like a year ago on my channel. But listening to it after the text messages, I'm just like, wait, this is so effed up. This is so effed up.
This is all that's been fabricated. Per Tim's request, and I mean, I feel bad. Known the girl forever. I mean, I can't imagine what she's feeling like. Whether she did it on purpose, as she claims, she knows nothing. She remembers nothing, and she did say,
You've kept in contact with her since?
yes, she did say something that was pretty damning the other day.
Have you seen her in person or just over
I've just seen her twice at the cemetery.
I think that Miss Russo knows. Clearly, I'm pretty sure she knows that Dom was a rug dealer. I think that at this particular moment in time, I don't think that's necessarily what they're trying to get at. I think they're just she was just trying to explain that that was Kenzie's threat. Remember, she was like, I'm going to call the police on you. You are a PDF file for dating me. You have rugs. You got me addicted. And so I think she just was trying to make the point that like, you know, Dom wouldn't pin it on her. It's basically what she said.
How does she get there? Can she drive?
Her
How is she?
mother takes her in the.
Is she in a wheelchair still?
Yeah, she can only put weight on her left leg,
Okay.
and then she's supposed to start some physical therapy.
Okay.
And then I've also kept in touch because she's dangling photos, she's dangling videos. And, you know, like when she just pieces one or two out instead of saying, I think you'd enjoyed it. Like we were at the cemetery and we had this bee problem between the two of us. I still have the bee problem. The bee people are coming today. But Dom had called me about the bees, and I don't know what she was recording, but it's all his voice, at least you know, because it has his voice. And so she finally sends me that one. But it's like, you know, she's just
Playing on your emotions.
yeah.
So where was she living the last few months?
Oh, that was it. That was it. That was the whole conversation. Can find it. So she'd been begging me to come over to the house because, you know, we live between the two houses because with Christopher's mental illness, Dom couldn't.
What did you say about Chris?
Christopher's this mental illness.
What's he gonna have going on?
He has he's been in and out of Oakview. He's
Okay.
got like he imagined stuff, like he called the police the one day claiming Don had threatened him, and we're all sitting there, and the
Okay.
police are like,
And I don't wanna get away
off
from what
track.
you're talking about, but I
But
did see, I want
Oh, she brings up Toph's mental health issues. Hey, Mary Beth, good to see you, love. I don't know. Like, we know Dom and Toph didn't get along.
to touch on, there was some text about Dom and Chris having a rough relationship.
yeah, that's why Dom started sleeping a lot next door, even
Okay.
though he still maintained his room and lived with me, but because of that, like I said, Chris called the police on him several times, I'm sure you've got a record of it, claiming this and that. Now,
Okay.
the one day I was in the hospital, Dom was just outside, wanted to get back in to eat breakfast in the house. I have a broken window still from it. Christopher had locked him out and called the police and said Dom was outside threatening, which wasn't true. Then I'm there, I'm out of the hospital now. Chris calls again and says Dom threatened him. I'm sitting right there, and I'm like, whatever. Cops come, 4 deep or whatever. They talk to Chris. They eventually take him to Oakview because they had realized that he wasn't processing what was really happening.
Is he on meds?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get back to Kenzie.
So why I'm saying all
Yeah.
this was because she's begging me to go over there into that house where he had set up his business and his studio and the things that he was doing, whatever with his job. And I said I'm not touching that stuff. I don't know why she wants to, but then she wanted to take some of his clothes, and then I found out she had a bag of his clothes at her house, and then she says to me, well, I don't understand, why I couldn't go in there where I've been staying for the last 4 months or something, which gave you the living on the own thing, okay? Now, mind you, mother, I check and see when the car comes home. I check and see it's there.
And we
The
see
night
that.
of the
Okay, Kenzie kept a bag of his clothes, remember? And she was like, oh, I want his smell. And I'm like, you freak. So we know she wanted to get back into the house to get her rugs and the stuff, but Kenzie trying so hard to get back into the house makes me think there was something else. I don't know.
incidents, I had assumed he was home. His car was there. They don't rarely would take Kenzie's car. Now they did take it to Florida because she has the better gas mileage or whatever. The two of them went together with the mother, with her mom.
Hold on, so when they drove to Florida, her mom was with them?
Yeah, they traveled together. Yeah, in 2 separate cars though.
Yeah.
So they had 2 vehicles, so the mom could take the daughter and do different things.
Gotcha.
At Universal, but they piggybacked together.
Gotcha.
So, because I was nervous about that, I said, oh, geez, you know what I mean? They had planned this. I just got out of the hospital. This was like right around Easter. But then my ex and Angela went, so they met them down there too. So I had a little bit sense okay and kept in touch, and then they came home. But she says that I've been staying there or living there for the last so many months. I have it in a text message since I don't know if your subpoena keeps going through
And
to back up after that.
gotcha. So you can confirm that she has stayed, even as a juvenile at the time, she has been staying outside her parents'
And the
house.
point of all of that is the fact that the mom never said, are the kids home? She never checked in with me ever. The only time they would ever come over would be once in a blue moon to drop something off or to take pictures for some event. Do you know what I'm saying? But Kenzie, Dom took her to Polaris. Dom made sure she made it to school. Mom didn't do any of that, okay?
Miss Russo's like, And Natalie Shirilla was sitting on her ass getting high, smoking the joint, and not taking her daughter to school or parenting her. Yes. I mean, she didn't say that clearly, but I made that little part of it. Because that's what I think she was doing. But anyways, allegedly. Oh my God. Allegedly, my opinion only. So Miss Russo's basically like, yeah, Natalie Shirley is everything you guys think she is.
So it was all Dom, other than her, obviously, if she could walk to the high school.
How long they been together?
They said 4 years. I don't, I didn't know that it was quite that long, but that's what he said, and that's what he told Angelo, that he didn't want to, he felt that it had been 4 years.
When
of
did
his
you notice
life.
her coming around? Give or take.
Oh, it's been a few years,
It's
oh,
been
for
a
sure,
few
yeah, it
years?
didn't
Okay.
just happen, but
Okay.
I'm just saying, I don't know, like maybe when they first started dating, they were really young then,
Mhm.
Dom wasn't probably driving even, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I
right.
probably didn't see much of her. or
Dom
whatever.
ever talk about her driving or her, ever, mention anything to you about, I don't feel safe getting in a car with this girl or anything of that sort?
Like I said, he has stated that she's crazy, that he was concerned, about her driving, and clearly that was mentioned before, and I don't know exact language because I didn't remember
Mhm.
that I would have to remember, was the day on the highway the week before, which was, and I'll never, and you said, how do you remember? Well, I know, I had testing the next day, I was sick, it was raining, I remember everything about it because I had to go to the hospital the next morning. So nobody could say, oh, you just don't remember that day. No, I do. I remember it clear as a bell.
And there's
And then she sent her dad over to get her purse out of the house and blah, 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 And it was, I just said, it's just, I go, it's just straight to the dad, this is just stupid.
Did they fight a lot?
According to my son Angelo, yes, they were fighting quite a bit.
Would you mind us talking to Angelo?
Would he be one of put on?
So it's really, really possible that Miss Russo didn't know how bad it was or just how bad it was, but Natalie Stinky Shirilla did because Natalie was always giving her advice. And remember, Kenzie's like, I'm gonna call your mom. My mom says do this. My mom said, which I don't even think Natalie was in a place to even give relationship advice. Nonetheless, so I feel like Miss Russo was a little bit in the dark about how bad it was. Now, flipping the boat over to Natalie Shirley, I don't think she was in the dark about how bad it was.
I actually, if you didn't make it, I mean, he's sort of lately been having a tough time getting up in the morning. Just, I think it started, he was really strong for me through all of this. But if you could make it a little bit later in
Yeah,
the day, I
we could.
break it
Absolutely.
up here.
We're still going through her phone. So the search warrant we got through her phone, there's 80 gigabytes of data.
Her and
Between
Dom had
31,000 text messages or exchanges, which is, I mean, that's an astronomical
That's
number.
ridiculous.
That's why it's taking us forever to get to these
Yeah,
interviews.
she's more of a texter than Dom is.
Right.
Like I said, me and Dom rarely text. I mean, I might say I love you or whatever, but he would, he usually would call. And that was more his style, than.
One thing that came up with when I talked to Blair was the goodbye messages and the phone call from Dom the wee hours of the morning of the crash. He said Dom FaceTimed with him or called, but Blair was asleep, so he missed the call. And he's pretty torn over this because he's like, I wish I was awake to know what he wanted, because that's that mystery that he'll never know. And so he said, according to him, that Dom sent like I love you type messages to family members.
No, I
And to
think that,
friends.
I don't know about that. The only thing I do know is he texts his dad, love you, Dad, or whatever.
Is that unusual?
No, I don't think that it was anything unusual.
Okay. I think we can say that's unusual. Sorry, Miss Russo. But us who have read 3 years of text messages can say that is unusual, because when did we hear about like Dom doing that throughout the text messages? Those were strictly be him and Kenzie, but that was never like a fight or anything. I do find it kind of odd that Dom would text that, especially right before he was murdered. Yeah, Miss Russo was very ill. Dom didn't want to share how crazy Kenzie was because he knew that Miss Russo would not do well.
For him, I don't know. Because him and his dad have had a rocky relationship their whole life. Do you know what I mean? So who knows? Maybe the kid had a freaking premonition and felt guilty because they did. Dom was young when I got divorced, and his dad made some of the visitation difficult for them, and with him being young, it was
harder on him than the other two.
Have you been able to talk to his dad since the crash?
I
Okay.
tried.
He called me last week. I don't know if he told you
me
that.
he was going to call you.
He wanted to know the status, why we're still investigating. Why
Yeah, I know. I know we only saw whatever text we saw, but I feel like she would have got mad about it. You know what I mean? Like knowing Kenzie, anytime that Dom talked to his mom, she was like, "Why are you talking to her?" You know, so I feel like if he was talking to his dad, she would have said something throughout those text messages. Maybe not necessarily true, but I do find it odd that Dom would text that right before he died.
this is not an, you know,
Well, yeah, and I don't trust him, and we've told him we don't trust him because he sat there and he's doing some voodoo. I called him
right,
hysterical.
right.
The night that it happened, I was in tears. I just didn't want to forget what had happened. I was so upset. And they claim that, that Dom from Beyond has told them through this, like a Ouija board thing, that it wasn't, the accident wasn't Kenzie's fault. Well, how could it not be? When Kusne tells me that
The front what? They did a Ouija board and Dom talked to them and said it wasn't Kenzie's fault? What the actual shit? I need to rewind. Please be kind. Rewind my blockbuster movie. Okay, let's go back for a minute.
being young, it was,
Harder on him than the other two.
Have you
Yeah.
been able to talk to his dad since the crash?
I
Okay.
tried
He
talking.
called me last week. I don't know if he
He
told you
told me
that.
he was gonna
and
call you.
He wanted to know the status, why we're still investigating, why this is not an, you know,
Well, yeah, and I don't trust him, and we've told him we don't trust him because he sat there and he's doing some voodoo. I called him
right,
hysterical.
right.
The night that it happened, I was in tears. I just didn't want to forget what had happened. I was so upset. And they claim that, that Dom from Beyond has told them through this, like a Ouija board thing, that it wasn't, the accident wasn't Kenzie's fault. Well, how could it not be? When Kusne tells me that the 360, which I don't understand, I'm not technological savvy, okay, that she's driving fine and then accelerates at one point to this point and doesn't stop. And
So you
then
talked to Husni?
well, he called, after Davion's funeral, Husni introduced me to the parents of the wake, and then I had snuck, well, I couldn't deal with anybody, so I went late to the church, but I felt I wanted to pay the kid respect. And I left before they did their procession, so I just to be there for the mass, and he had called complaining about talking shit, basically, about things that he was disappointed in, and not, not facetious. I would want the mom or the parents to know, but him and I had a few criticisms about the way that the funeral was handled and them being gone and things like that. I don't know if he just used me as a sounding board, because he was very close with them. But he just started with blah blah blah, and then he went on to say, "You better not let this go. That I know that this is, this she did this on basically. I don't want to replace the kids." Words,
and it's okay because we talked to Husni
Him and Tyler Croy.
Yeah, and
They're
then
very
he was
good
just
friends.
very angry and just said that, you better not let that. I said, I'm not gonna let this go. I said, it's in the police. I said, well, even if I said, oh, it's fine. Yeah, I said, it's still a crime. So I got 2 dead kids, so, but he just vented for a little bit, and I hadn't talked to him, much after that, but, and I did hear a little bit, like, from some of the other kids that, he maybe exaggerates a little bit, the way, he doesn't know everything, like he claims he knows, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't get wrapped up in what the kid tells you, you know what I mean? Because I thought it was odd, too, that he would call and criticize about the funeral, right, and the things, and them not coming back, and the neighbor being all pissed off.
So, are there any rumors that you would want us to confirm or dispel for you? Anything? Because I
Well, I told you the
want to
big
try
thing
to.
was that mushroom thing, okay, which
The mushroom was found on her person.
But I know that.
It's on
I'm
body
saying
cam.
I have not said.
Okay. I know I saw you guys say something. Let's talk about the mushrooms. Yes, they were probably Dom's. Yes, I think they were just as equally as Kenzie's. We know she was the one who wanted to be the hard ass and do the rug dealing and then do the rugs. but they were on Kenzie's person, not on Dom. So I know we know that they both liked to mess around with that stuff. But I don't know. Like, it makes me question like Kenzie's motives again, you know? If she was gonna do this and she had mushrooms on her person, would that be like a defense? Clearly not, because it would be like, well, you were high, but then maybe they would be like, you're high, you're innocent. But then again, are you following my train of thought? I'm trying to piece together from like the text messages, like they were on her person at the end of the day. She directed that whole party, in my honest opinion. Yeah, exactly, Mallory. Mallory says, Melly, the last text, it was Kenzie that wanted to shroom, and Dom was saying no. Yeah, they were selling them. She didn't give an AF. She did also have a weight, like a weight. Is that what you call it? Where you like weigh like weed, and then she had shrooms, and then she had money.
A word. I was told that. I mean, nothing you guys have said has left my brain. Okay.
The mushrooms were tested. They came back. It's an F2 given the quantity. It was above the bulk amount. It was on her person. Yes.
See, because I asked him about
A scale.
years.
Thank you. I knew what I was trying to say. Scale. You guys know what I meant. Yeah, a scale. You guys are like, really? I don't think she thought she would survive. I'm wondering if they have the proof that those texts were sent before. I don't remember reading that in the police reports. The I love you text. Like, was that actually Dom or was that Kenzie? I'm sure they timed that within the investigation and the timing and everything, but
They're really, listen,
remember Kenzie was laying over his lap. So was Kenzie leaning over for something? What if Kenzie sent the text? That's what I was getting at.
I've spent the last 4 years in the DEA task force. This is the second time in 4 years I've seen shrooms.
It's a large quantity,
Yeah,
and
it
the
was
medics were the
surprising.
ones who searched her when they strapped her to the gurney before the life flight. It was
Right.
even Berea. It wasn't even Strongsville.
Right.
So it's all on the body cam of the officer. The medic reaches in, grabs it, gives it to the officer. So I mean, there's no. You're not able to pin it on Dom.
But I'm telling you, that was the big thing. And then
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's not his character.
Right.
And
No.
why in the hell is there
You guys are saying it happened from impact? I mean, we don't know. They could have been fighting. Maybe she dropped her through his phone. I don't know.
driving home sober at 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning or whatever time it was? Would that be there? Like, I still don't know whose backpack's in the car. I don't know what happened to his necklace.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't even know. I know I called you guys one night hysterical. I don't know who I talked to, but I just didn't know what happened to his clothes. I didn't know.
So the car is in our possession. It's secured in one of our bays because it's evidence at this point. Everything else that we were able to collect from the car, that we were able to get, is in property. Everything. The only things that I released were, the necklace that I found out, a couple of things, and everything was with the prosecutor's approval. I wasn't going to release.
Well, I don't know. Tim wasn't thrilled. He wanted you to just keep her phone. He goes, but we can't keep her phone forever. But
Right.
I said, what? How can you? I mean, what are you gonna do?
Well, and that was a good move on Zaki's part.
Where the hell was Dom's necklace? Yeah, where did it go? It just flew out of the car in the crash? That's really interesting because it would be on his person, right?
He made a good deal because
We had to make a deal with the devil, and you're a defense lawyer. You're an excellent lawyer. You know how this goes. at this point, we served the search warrant. That seizure of the phone becomes unreasonable. What am I holding on to the
Right.
phone for? We gave her the phone back in exchange for the code. Had we not gotten that code, that phone possibly could have had to go to Israel, to the lab, to Cellbrite, to crack into it. Again, or the feds or something. You know, it would have been very difficult. Apple doesn't make things easy for police to get into.
Oh,
That's
I
one.
know, I have an old
Number-
phone that I can't get into either. because I
Number
don't
two,
remember the code.
as you might already know, I wanted to give her a rope and let that go on the record. I wanted to give her the phone back, see what she's going to do with it. And she did. I mean, she was making modeling, you know, talking to this modeling company from the hospital about her future plans with no regard to the fact that she took 2 innocent lives.
I scream at that. Kenzie was like trying to be a model as she's laying on the hospital bed. We're going to watch a bunch of this audio body cam footage too later after this live.
Or at least contributed to the loss of life. So it was a strategic decision that I made that I will.
Oh, yeah, I'm
you know,
not saying
and I know,
just wanted to make a
you know,
joke about
right.
it.
No, and again, Tim and I talked, and I said, listen, sometimes you kind of
Right.
have to, you know, her mom called over 10, 15 times here wanting the phone back. And so once we served the search warrant and we had the,
You needed had what you
you know,
needed.
we got all that.
I gotcha.
So that takes me to the next, to the Dom's phone. I know you asked Jason for Dom's phone. I do have Dom's phone, and what I was gonna say is a lot of the friends.
So Natalie was also trying to get Kenzie's phone back just as bad as Kenzie was. Are we surprised? No. But they wanted to delete shit. They wanted to go through it. If you just killed your boyfriend and you had nothing to do with it, this isn't the state of mind you would be in. You would be upset. You wouldn't be worried about getting a phone back. I guess maybe you would, but not as bad as they were. This is Miss Russo. Wait, the phone call with her and her mom, I tightened the bag of his stuff and that other thing, his necklace. They didn't want to talk about one of the things she had. If she has his necklace still in that house or in her stuff, that's creepy.
Were not cooperative with us, and I'm wondering if there is anything on
Because she's in jail.
Dom's phone. We looked through Davion's phone. We asked
Prison.
the parents, and granted, the parents had no standing in his case, but I know with Dom's phone, it's registered to your law firm, so you do have standing. Whether or not you would consent to letting us look.
Yeah, I just can't, and I can't
Okay.
because I have so many confidential communications, even with my son
Fair
about
enough.
other people that he would call me or, you know, and talk about, but he's not friends with any of those people.
And we, you know, all we got from at least Blair and from talking to him is that there were those phone calls or at least attempts to make calls the morning of the crash. So in particular, we're not looking to
Well, I can
tarnish.
go on my
his-
Verizon and print off his call log. I have absolutely no problem doing
I am
that.
interested
Can you get text messages through my Verizon?
I will find out.
from the night of the
I
30th.
know, like in Medina, because they're always really more so than Cuyahoga, just they're freaks about phones and all that
Mhm.
stuff. And we will get printouts. They're harder to go through because it's not the bubbles like we like
Yeah,
to see
yeah,
right.
on the thing, but it'll show the number and it'll show the statement.
Sure.
So,
And-
but that's one thing. It's like I got kids right now that
Right.
cases are going on. I can't that are his friends. Yeah.
My main concern is, like I said, we're not looking to, you know,
Oh, I don't.
Tarnish
I'm
his
not-
name.
I don't think the kid didn't do anything.
Right.
I mean, I don't.
all we
I
want to
just-
know is
Right,
those
if there's
calls
anything
were.
else that went through.
Did he
Yeah.
She doesn't want to give up some of the information. This part, I don't know. I see Justine Lynn. I'm like, okay, I think she's trying to protect him even in his death. And I think I'm going to let this one slide by Mr. So. I think she probably didn't even know what was in there. And so, you know, Dom just got murdered. So maybe she doesn't want to give up his shit and she doesn't want his name to be tarnished. I think she knows 100% her son. I'm not knocking that. Was it okay? Absolutely not. As I say, just with the earlier live, Anna Kepner, like if you're enabling your children to do bad things, that's one thing, right? Now, what we consider bad is a whole different conversation on religion, spirituality, personal choice, parents, morals, ethics, etc. But nonetheless, I think she knew who her son was, and perhaps she was trying to protect him. And I think that's okay. I think that he's dead, and she's just like, no, you can't have everything in his phone. I'll get you call logs, but like, I can't be mad at that for some reason.
Event that night to somebody, maybe did he take a picture of her sleeping at the house? Did he,
Nancy just said it. Yeah, that's basically what I was getting at. No matter what Dom did, he didn't deserve to be killed. And yeah, I agree.
anything that
Well, I
would
think,
shed some light on what
again,
happened?
I don't know that I could do anything with it, and I'll frankly tell you why the phone's so important. Not only did we have, he started that business.
And don't forget, Miss Russo's a really good lawyer too. So she probably knows at this point she doesn't necessarily have to give it up, but she does end up giving in, and they get everything they need. So
He had his college fund that he was using money to make multiple investments, and I've asked, which I don't do a whole lot of probate, but Loretta, my lawyer, I said, how am I gonna, like some of them will say, take a text message to verify
in
your
the phone.
identity.
Mhm.
So anything, like he has a laptop, but his cryptocurrency, all that shit's gonna be on there. I don't know, because you said it was smashed. I don't know if I wanna go to Verizon and say, hey, can we at least transfer it? So I could try to find out where it's, right now, even my son said, we could be getting killed in the stock market, and we don't even have his stocks. We did put one in my name that we did together because he was too young for them to establish it, but the rest of the accounts he established.
Okay.
I mean, I know where he banks at, that's not an issue, but I don't know about these stock accounts, and because of this freaking paperless shit, nothing comes to the house. I get the
Right.
bank statement to the house, but I was with him
Mhm.
and told the bank, just do a paper copy. Because everything's with this wireless shit, I have nothing to even go on.
What kind of business was Dom running?
He did, we're making music, he set up a studio, and then people would come and pay him, and he would help them
In the
with
house
studio
next door.
time.
Sound and
That's
okay,
where he
yeah.
conducted, and he made his own songs, and that was how he was making his money, plus, like I said, I didn't hand over all his money, just so you know. I mean, he would say, give me 10 grand, I'm gonna put it in this stock, or,
Right.
so I would order the checks out of it. It was a uniform gift to minors up to 21.
Mhm.
So, but I don't know, like I said, even the one that me and him had together, I think's going, I don't get statements on that either. So
Mhm.
even Angela says, I could be trading the stock or buying and selling, we can't do nothing.
Okay.
And I'm going to play devil's advocate. I do think that all the way around, both of them were failed. I think that maybe if Miss Russo had been a little more involved or had known something else, regardless of her being sick, and likewise, I say the same for Nally Shirilla and them as well. I think that both of these kids were in a toxic relationship and no one had any control. But if something was done, could it have been prevented?
And that only mine,
Yeah.
it's in my
Yeah.
name, he could have with my permission. I can't
Right.
do nothing with Dom's, I just gotta turn it over to Loretta to see if we can get,
Mhm.
that
I
money
will
back.
I will contact him once we're done here, let him know, because like I said, since the Mackenzie's phone, I run everything by him. Hey, you good with us
Yeah,
releasing?
no, that's fine, I mean, I don't know,
Now, could have all the parents been involved with whatever they were doing, whether it was selling weed or whatever? Sure. They could have all been involved. Same with the Shirillas.
We haven't looked into it though. I just want you to know.
I don't know if it's even possible. I don't know. If that's the case, then the only thing I can hope is Verizon tells me you can pull it from the cloud. Do you see what I'm saying? Because a lot of stuff, so I may be able to do that. I know I can definitely get all the call logs.
That's
the
the
and
calls.
then I can,
And you guys, yeah, Miss Russo had a lot of responsibility probably that she didn't deal with. But at the same time, like, come on, those text messages. At the end of the day, whether Dom was popping perks, selling them, smoking weed, or whatever, um, he experienced a lot of mental and emotional abuse, right? 2 years prior to his death. And, you know, it wasn't the rugs that killed him or the money that he was stashing in the house. It was Kenzie. And yes, all parents failed all across the board to some extent.
The
I can
texts
go
were
from
on.
there.
Right, and that's, like I said,
Like I
we're,
said, he's more of a caller than a texter, and that was just, and I think the only reason he texted his dad late was because, it was late.
okay. Like I said, based on that conversation with Blair, it just seemed, even by his own admission, it's just unusual.
Mhm.
And, you know, calling Blair late at night, like maybe he did have a feeling,
Well,
or
I did.
maybe there was something, there
I
was some
made
kind
the,
of
the
a,
comment the week before, we all went to dinner with my mom. And I said, why didn't we take a picture? And Ange goes, yeah, we're gonna take a picture of all of us at dinner. I said, yeah, that picture will never happen again. Not thinking my son,
Mhm.
but you know what I'm saying? That
Right.
definitely was what the Lord was putting in my brain. I was thinking my mom or my stepdad would have passed. Do you know what I mean? They
Right.
just turned 80. You know what I'm saying? Not
Right.
the opposite. So I don't know that you
If-
know, but I was clueless, obviously.
if this goes to trial, as you might expect, through discovery, that her defense lawyer, Jim McDowell,
Oh, that's what she hired?
Yeah.
Jim
Yeah,
McDonald?
well,
McDowell
They're
or
in the third one
McDowell,
now, so it's kind of, it's changed a couple times, but I think it's
she had Brad Koff from Columbus who referred her to Stephen McGowan, and all of a sudden,
Oh, Steve McGowan.
Jim,
Steve McGowan, I love Steve McGowan. He's
He's
old.
been around
He
forever.
doesn't,
yeah,
he won't work the case. It's kind of like Stu Libby. They don't watch videos, they don't listen to recordings.
No, it's too much
Yeah,
for him.
yeah, exactly.
so
It's,
it's,
which is just, it's
Jim is
terrible.
now representing her. So all these
That's weird,
texts,
so I'm wondering if the aunt, because I think it was Doug Will, some lawyer from Lorraine, I was told that, and so maybe he just couldn't do it, maybe he's not.
I do not know, but there were some text exchanges between you and Mackenzie where she talks about Dom's mental health. And I know this is something that potentially could come up, so I just have to ask.
Mhm.
Dom suffered from depression,
Mhm.
no? Any mental issues that, you know, they could,
No, and in fact,
Ooh. Ooh. I call bullshit here. Miss Russo, Miss Russo, Miss Russo. Dom talked about this in the text messages so much about how he had mental health issues. Now, whether she knew or alleges she knew or didn't, Dom admitted himself he had major mental health issues.
when
And she just said, no, he didn't have depression. Okay, maybe not depression. We just know that's not true.
they were, you know, my ex family was gonna try to kill Christopher at the house. And Dom intervened, got charged, which he shouldn't have, because he was a victim. They came.
Okay. I'm screaming. I'm rewinding. Wow. 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 Wow.
And so maybe he just couldn't do it, maybe he's not.
I do not know, but there were some text exchanges between you and Mackenzie where she talks about Dom's mental health. And I know this is something that potentially could come up, so I just have to ask.
Mhm.
Dom suffered from depression,
Mhm.
no? Any mental issues that, you know, they could,
No, and in fact, when they were, you know, my ex family was gonna try to kill Christopher at the house.
Ooh. Imagine if, see what I mean? Like listening to those texts. And now she's speaking about what happened with Toph and Dom when he got in trouble for it. Augie says, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, she failed her son too. I respect differing opinions. And yeah, I do think to an extent she did, Augie. I do.
And Dom intervened.
And I don't mean that with evil or malice or anything. I don't think anyone does. But yes, there's a lack of parental supervision here, clearly.
Got charged, which he shouldn't have, because he was a victim. They came with guns and everything strapped to kill Christopher. We had to take a mental health exam for the court, and that was turned into Berea Court. I do have a copy of it.
Okay.
He had to take a mental health and drug exam. And, I don't remember what the mental health part of it, but I remember the drugs and reading, because the drug and alcohol thing, that he had tried it, he had reported that he had tried alcohol a couple times at some parties. And mind you, this was done a year ago, okay?
Right.
Just, it wasn't done yesterday, okay?
Right.
And then, yeah, the only other issue was he had the medical marijuana card, and they did not find that that was a drug issue, because he was using
He
it.
did have a medical marijuana card. Did he, what did he get that for?
Well, he had, an injury in basketball, for his ankle. And again, I wasn't with the doctor that prescribed it, but he experienced a lot of pain. We were seeing an ankle specialist over at Southwest, then he wanted him to go for MRIs. What the insurance said he's too young or something stupid, I don't know, but he had an ankle, he always wore an ankle brace quite a bit, and I have a lot of like tendon issues, I had a lot of braces that I was giving him, so he experienced from basketball a lot of pain at the ankle and stuff that helped with.
In December 2020, December 28th, Mackenzie texted you saying Dom is saying he wants to hurt himself, and she goes on to say, you know, come over and help, and then you reply by saying he's all right, and in a brat mode, hit his head on the wall.
What did I say?
You said
In a brat
he's all
mode?
right, and in brat mode, hit his head on the wall. I don't know if you remember that.
Basically, he was just angry
He was
because
just-
he hit his head, but there was a couple times
Oh,
that
no,
Mackenzie.
he was angry because he hit his head. I
Okay.
remember
Okay.
that. Yeah,
so
he hit his head,
nothing-
so he got mad.
So no indication that he wanted to hurt himself.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay. I kind of like a lot of this. I know. Someone said it earlier. Miss Russo is also a lawyer, so she's sitting here like a lawyer and a mom. But she kind of lied. Actually, she did.
No, I'd have to ask Angelo, but I think any death threats usually came from her.
Okay.
Or, you know, I'll kill myself if you break up with me, or I'm gonna do this if you break up with me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In January 2021, Kenzie texted you saying about herself, I was feeling all weird and having she meant lot, of anxiety from withdrawal. Do you know what she's withdrawing from? Did you know she has a drug dependence issue?
Oh.
This was sent to you, to your phone.
I was feeling older.
Do you know what she's talking about?
I just wanted to leave. My friends was begging him to give me, and he didn't give me. The only thing I can think, withdrawal, but that would be a withdrawal symptom. God, I'd really have to go back and read them all. At one point with the stomach thing, okay, they had thought she had some, I don't know the name of the disease, something that had to do with marijuana, but marijuana doesn't cause withdrawal symptoms. But she was supposedly couldn't smoke marijuana because they were thinking that was part of this issue. It's some condition that you develop from smoking marijuana. Don't ask me. I don't know,
Okay.
unless it's stated in that.
Did
That's
you
the
know her to
only
smoke
thing.
marijuana?
I never seen her do it, but now that she admitted to me at the cemetery that she hasn't smoked since she got out of the hospital.
She just said she's never seen Kenzie smoke. Maybe not directly, but she's been at your house and done it.
And I had known about the condition she wasn't smoking, but I'm sure she was back smoking again because she just brought it up to me.
Yeah.
Not like she sat there and smoked in front of me or anything,
Right.
you know.
But to just bring it up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't, but well, that's because when she was getting sick with the stomach thing, this is
Yeah.
how a lot of this started, was with her stomach, but it was, I know that she had to, one of the things was, and I don't know what the condition is, I might be able to ask Angelo, but it was something where they said that the doctor told her she couldn't smoke marijuana anymore, and then that didn't, I don't know if that really turned out. I think that whole issue.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to make Dom the villain here. Like, I'm really not. I think it's sad what happened to Dom. I think the smoking weed and stuff, like, whatever. I think that no matter what Kenzie did and how she treated him is disgusting. Yeah, Melly, I agree with you. Victims can become villains on the internet. And I don't believe Dom was a villain.
Ended too with that, and which eventually led to the stupid gluten-free thing
Okay.
that was going on. But I mean, why would she? Maybe withdrawal. I mean, you don't withdraw from marijuana.
Okay.
I don't think that she used any other drugs. I don't. I was kind of shocked about the whole mushroom thing. I mean, like I said, they don't smoke pot, but who cares? Do you know what I'm saying? Most of these kids got med cards for different reasons. Do you know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
I don't know that. I highly doubt it. That would be a term that you'd use for like heroin or something.
Right.
But maybe in her mind, she was withdrawing.
And that's
from
why it caught our
marijuana.
Right.
attention,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
not something you normally see
No.
with
Right.
pot.
Yeah.
And so the last one, that's the one text that kind of stood out from the week before the crash on July 17th, where she texted you saying to come get Dom. He grabbed the steering wheel on the highway, trying to spin out my car and hurt me. And she kind of played it off to where
No, she totally, that's what she always did. Everything was always Dom's fault. She
I'm
always
scared
twisted it around.
because of driving in the rain. If he doesn't get out of my car, I'm calling my dad. And then you said Hench is on the way. Who's Hench?
That's Christopher Martin, that's his nickname. He's the fellow that went and picked up Dom.
And did Chris say anything about what transpired? Did he tell you like, oh, Christine, when I
No,
picked him
that
up?
he called me and said that, Mom, you, and in this calm of a voice. I mean, like I said, we talk more than we text. Mom, you need to come get me. Kenzie's being crazy. She's threatening to crash the car on the highway. Okay, are you pulled over? Yes.
Yeah, I agree, Mallory. Dom is definitely not the villain. He was a victim in more ways than one. Kenzie's disgusting, but Miss Russo has also turned a blind eye to a lot. I agree.
We're out on the highway. Okay, I'm laying on the couch. Which I was glad because I had Christopher not my son Christopher Hench, on his way
Mhm.
to get him while I stayed on the phone with Dom till I knew that he was there and she didn't do anything. And then after, that's when she just started ranting. I didn't pay attention to her.
Mhm.
Ranting and started blaming him for everything. It's like, whatever. Do you know what I mean? I said, I don't really care. Just don't fight in the car. And it seems that she did that because he had like little tiny stupid fender bender things with her in the car. You know, just like nothing, no damage, anything. But, you know, Kenzie had me hit the mailbox because she was fighting with him in the car, and Ange again could probably tell you more details, but I don't
Mhm.
know if she grabbed the steering wheel. I mean, it was my own mailbox, it wasn't a crime, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But there has been, since she started driving, more of the issue of her. But again, everything's always Tom's fault.
Right.
Right.
We can kind of see it from the text where there's a
Yeah,
lot of
she
that
just-
blame,
exactly.
shifting
Mhm.
blame.
Yep.
So, did you know where they were going that morning? Did you have any idea? Did Dom say anything the night before, like, hey, we're gonna be at this party and then we're going there?
Yeah.
Where were they
I was
going?
making, he said that they had a couple of graduation parties
Mhm.
to go to, and I had said that, that I was making some dip and some other things or whatever, and Blair had come over and I said, okay, this stuff's getting done or whatever, and his impression was, I know he texted me, all right, at one point I had talked to them, he didn't think they were gonna be gone, then I texted him and had said, something like, you know, this dip's done or whatever, and he said, okay, well, we shouldn't be long, or we'll be back in a little bit or whatever, and then that was it. Blair said that Don really didn't want to go to these parties. That's what I was told, that he did it for Kenzie. Wasn't friends with the people, wasn't thrilled about going.
We know the first party they went to was in Parma. It wasn't even a Strongsville.
I heard that there was no parents at a Lakewood house too. That was another party. Did Sneed tell you about that? This is where I'm getting a lot of my information.
And based on what we were able to track back to almost 8 p.m. and there was no indication they were in Lakewood. They were in Parma. Parma Heights area. We even have the LPR because we ran the license plate for the Toyota and saw what time they were going where. So we knew they went to Parma, and after that, they ended up on Brushwood, and that's where they spent the
That's Burling
6-7
And
hours.
that's the one that's behind Whitney by the way.
Yes, yes. You know, Brushwood has 2 entrances.
Not
They don't
really.
connect, but they were off of Whitney.
Okay.
So this is, we kind of know that for.
Yeah, I agree. Lisa Marie says, I don't mean any disrespect, but this comment, I think you can be really hard on parents. Kids get to a certain age and you only have so much control over them. Absolutely. But then don't house them and pay for it and give them your property. You know, there's a definition between, yes, I agree with that comment that people only have so much control over them, but there's also right and wrong, right? And so, okay, she could have enabled them, but she didn't have to give them her property and didn't have to buy them alcohol. I mean, I think 2 things, you know, can kind of be true at the same time. And both sets of parents bought them alcohol. So now whether we think that's a problem or not, or whether we do it or whatever, that's a whole different conversation. At least in this situation, they both gave them the tools aside from enabling them to continue to do it. And so I'm not trying to be hard on Ms. Russo, but I mean, she is flat out lying here, whether she's protecting herself or not. I'm not coming for her. I think at the end of the day, Kenzie's the one who created this, did this, and she's in prison dealing with it. And so that's just kind of where I stand with that.
Fact, and they left there about 5:30
Yeah,
in
he
the
just,
morning.
again, and again, everybody's told me don't live and die by what Houston has to say,
No.
cause he doesn't know
Yeah,
everything, but he had thought that there was, he was the one that alerted me that there weren't parents supervising these
Right.
parties.
I think a lot of what's going on with him is grief. So now, and you correct me if I'm wrong, because I talked to him. Him and Dom were pretty close. So I think a lot of him, I don't want to say conspiracy theory, but his digging and his own investigating, I think he's getting some misinformation. So yeah, don't put too much into, because between the grief and the anger at Mackenzie and him doing his own digging and talking to people and that, I think people are staring him at some.
And what's weird too is I had heard, and I probably confused me, I don't wanna just say it's put it all on this kid, but before I had heard the mushroom story, I had heard that all these people at this party were like tripping or whatever. But I didn't hear it on mushrooms. When I think of tripping, I think of acid. I don't know if that still goes around these days like it used to in the 70s or 80s, whenever it was. But I haven't been in an acid case in a long time either. So
Yeah, it's coming. We were,
I guess in a sense, I can also kind of be harsh just from personal experience. I actually have a friend who died at a party we were all at, and she woke up dead on the couch for rugs. And so going through that experience, I think I could be a little more harsh, and I think that's where I get the notion of you are responsible for what happens like in your home and around you, right? Yeah, I know perks are an opiate. Yeah, I know Dom was taking them, and I don't know if Miss Russo was taking them, but at the end of the day, the perks didn't cause this death of Dom and Davion.
But I just, like I said, none of them were big drinkers. I didn't really see
Right.
them ever. fucked
We
up.
know.
You know what I mean? It just, none of the 3 of them even. Now, did I ever go to a party with Kenzie? No, I never did. But I've seen her quite a bit. I've never seen her screwed up on anything. I've never seen my son screwed up on anything. Davion I didn't know very long, but he was kind of the same way. I mean, like I said, they were always doing something. If they're not making music, they were working on the car. They were, you know what I mean? It wasn't.
Did they
just
ever
not
fight or argue in front of you? Mackenzie and Dom?
Oh, of course not.
No.
No, because then I could be a witness to what she's claiming.
So Angela would probably be able to.
Because
shed
then
more
Dom,
light.
right, Dom would vet more.
Would
She's saying she never heard the Emery winding, never heard them fight or experienced it for as much as they did.
I've never seen her screwed up on anything. I've never seen my son screwed up on anything. Davion, I didn't know very long, but he was kind of the same way. I mean, like I said, they were always doing something. If they're not making music, they were working on the car. They were, you know what I mean? It wasn't.
Did they
just
ever
not
fight or argue in front of you? Mackenzie and Dom?
Oh, of course
No.
not. No, because then I could be a witness to what she's claiming.
So Angela would probably be able to.
Because
shed
then
more
Dom,
light.
right, Dom would vent more.
With Angela, were Angela and Dom close?
Yes, very
Okay.
close.
What's a good phone number for?
Yeah, First Liberties is right. She never actually saw it. Dom isn't there. It's hearsay.
Angelo.
Oh, it's not terrible.
And if you don't mind, would you be kind enough to let him know that probably next week sometime we're gonna give him a call and
Yeah.
set something up.
Someone said they were sipping the perp, I think you meant slurping the perp. That is also true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'll talk. All right, Angelo.
Exactly. She probably never saw. Sorry, it's redacted. Well, she gives out information.
And like I said, he could probably, I mean, probably just, give you more of the gripes. I don't think that, I mean, if there was a situation where I was around, Dom would come to me and say, you know what I mean, Kenzie's doing this and Kenzie's doing that. And I mean, he just probably, I mean, more so than not referred her as being crazy. Crazy. I mean, do you know what I'm saying?
And I do believe Dom didn't tell her everything, because even in the last few tech lives that we did of the text message, remember, he's like, I don't want to stress her out. Like, my mom is everything.
But again, she's a young girl. I wish I would have just read more into it. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, I never would have dreamed in a million years. Do you know what I'm saying? That I would be having to worry about this.
Right.
Even when the police came, I said, they don't even drink, really. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I did it. Now, like I said, and then, my concern is I don't know if or when, because of the way those text screens come out, if or when she would have ingested anything. I still don't think, even if she was high on those mushrooms, that's would have been the case.
And
I just don't. I mean, from what I know, what I've read about, I mean, like I said, yes, maybe on acid, that's something more.
Nancy's like, okay, time out, everyone.
Bad, but you don't really hear. I mean, people are, when you interview clients and talk to them about it and you study it, it's more of a.
Yes, at the end of the day, we've all had our own experiences. We all have our own opinions. We all look at things differently, right? Let's take a deep breath. At the end of the day, Kenzie did this. Okay. I know there's a lot of shadiness here. And I didn't think this I would not have felt this way if I didn't replay this interview today after reading 32,000 pages of text messages. We read 32,000, not 3,200, babes. 32,000. So I think, we've also we have that perspective as well, is what I'm saying.
Although I did read about it the other day too, I forgot, but more of like a happier type of a situation. It's supposed to make you more giggly or whatever. I forget the description. You know what I mean? So
what's making this a bit difficult, at least for the two of us, is just looking at the driving on Progress. Progress Drive is not a straight line. And so the medical theory, I mean, we're eliminating theories at this point. We put, what could a defense lawyer come after us for? So, mechanical, medical, OVI, or other to include suicide. And I can tell you, I'm substantially certain that mechanical is out. We had a forensic mechanic, we had the EDR report, Judge John Russo saw when he signed the search warrants, and he signed 10 out of the 11 search warrants for us. I mean, he looked into some of the data from the car. Something was up.
I've also been in a relationship like this, you guys, and my dad did do everything he could in his power, even to involve law enforcement. I guess that's why I'm also a little bit harsh, because I'm like, there could have been things done. You know what I mean? And I'm not coming from Miss Russo. I love Miss Russo, actually, quite frankly. I do. I feel for her. Even listening to her, I'm just like, ooh. Now, do I feel for Natalie Shirilla? No. Not in the sense of like, ooh, boohoo, I'm sad about Kenzie. No, absolutely not. I don't believe he told her everything. Just last night, I found something from my son that hurt him 13 years ago. Mom loved his mama and didn't want to stress her out. And I'm very much that person too. I wouldn't want to stress my mom out and bring to her things that, you know, I thought at the time weren't necessary.
So
So
that's-
what would the other defense be? I mean, if
The other defense would be the OVI, like she was so impaired that she had. But then again, if we know that Davion was awake because he sent a text at 5:30. He commented on a picture that was sent to him from a friend, and he's like, "Oh, this is cool," or something like that. So we knew he was up. No indication from him that there was something going on. And as they make the turn, you can see on video that there's like somebody had a screen up, likely Dom, that the phone was on or something.
Yeah, you could see a light.
You can
coming
see
from
the
the
light.
car when they turned from Pearl on to Progress.
But it doesn't
Like the
explain, and I'm sure, one day it'll come out. It doesn't explain those last 2 seconds.
I mean, you've driven down Prospect, what, 1,000 times? You lived in Shelbyville forever. So we all know it has those two curves.
Oh, and don't let her tell you that she is unfamiliar with
No,
Progress.
I
Okay.
eliminated that this morning.
Okay, because I'm gonna tell you, when we went for prom pictures, the guy that was going with us, she kept telling me, oh, just cut through on Progress. She knew, and that was the way that I went to my office. I've not driven down that street since July.
Yeah.
She's at that memoriam all the time. How do you go to the scene where you've just killed 2 people?
She knew Progress.
We knew.
Progress, and we all know, I mean, it's bumpy from the semis, there's curves.
Yeah.
If she was impaired, if she fell asleep, you wouldn't have navigated that. It doesn't make sense.
Not to mention,
Ooh, these are the conversations we're gonna have on the second channel too. Like, Patty just said something that's blowing my brains. I wanted to say it. Dom had to learn his behavior or lifestyle from someone just sane, respectfully. And it goes back to like the trauma thing and how to handle child mental health. I mean, this can go into a million different directions, right? Are parents responsible for the environment they put their children in? Yes.
Dom and or Davion
Don't come for me.
moved her, yanked her, did something to, at least offset the impact of the crash.
Right,
But
if she's sitting there driving and she goes like this, someone's gonna grab that wheel, they're gonna say, holy shit, she passed out, she fell asleep, she something.
Your foot wouldn't stay on the gas either that fast.
Right.
so, and I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm rewinding that because I want to hear that part again. Just a couple seconds.
I mean, you've driven down Prospect, what, 1,000 times? You lived in Shelbyville forever. So we all know it has those two curves.
Oh, and don't let her tell you that she is unfamiliar with
No,
Progress.
I
Okay.
eliminated that this morning.
Okay, because I'm gonna tell you, when we went for prom pictures, the guy that was going with us, she kept telling me, oh, just cut through on Progress. She knew, and that was the way that I went to my office. I've not driven down that street since July.
Yeah.
She's at that memoriam all the time. How do you go to the scene where you've just killed 2 people?
She knew Progress.
We knew.
Progress, and we all know, I mean, it's bumpy from the semis, there's curves.
Yeah.
If she was impaired, if she fell asleep, you wouldn't have navigated that. It doesn't make sense.
Not to mention, Dom and or Davion
Being awake.
moved her, yanked her, did something to,
Oh my God. Okay, I have so much to say. One, she's a freak for continuing to go to his place, or the place that she's mentioning, his like gravesite or whatever. But also, is someone who intentionally kills someone do that? Okay, I'm rewinding.
this morning.
Okay, because I'm gonna tell you, when we went for prom pictures, the guy that was going with us, she kept telling me, oh, just cut through on Progress. She knew, and that was the way that I went to my office. I've not driven down that street since July.
Yeah.
She's at that memoriam all the time. How do you go to the scene where you've just killed 2 people?
She knew
Oh.
progress.
We knew.
progress, and we all know. I mean, it's bumpy from the semis. There's curves.
Yeah.
If she was impaired, if she fell asleep, you wouldn't have navigated that. It doesn't make sense.
Not to mention Dom and or Davion
Being away.
moved her, yanked her, did something to, at least offset the impact of the crash.
Right.
But
Oh my gosh, they just literally said some of our theories. Remember, we talked about this during the text messages a lot. We have had long hour conversations about this. Did someone yank? Did someone try to stop? I mean, like, I'm screaming. Hey, Amy Truth, good to see you, love. My soul breaks for Miss Russo's injuries. Couldn't begin to feel her pain. I know I do. I do feel for Miss Russo.
If she's sitting there driving and she goes like this, someone's gonna grab that wheel. They're gonna say, "Holy shit, she passed out. She fell asleep. She something."
Your foot wouldn't stay on the gas either that fast.
Right.
so, and I don't want to.
And it would have stopped once she hit the sign.
That's another issue. Yeah.
But the speed at which this all happened.
She keeps telling me that she wished she would have died. She keeps saying that it should have been me. And now she wants to talk shit all then. I know it's different when people die, but she's got nothing but go on and on about how perfect and wonderful he was. And that basically saying I'm a piece of shit and he was a great person.
Ooh, yeah. Jennifer, I love your comment. Thank you. Jennifer says she listens to me in her earbuds all the time. And then she says, my patient and I have been listening to you for days, girl. She's in the hospital and you soothe her to sleep. That is amazing, Jennifer. Thank you. And shout out to your patient too. I hope you both are doing well. Thank you for being here and supporting.
I mean, so didn't bring up always got mental health issues and all that other shit that she wants to.
And the only reason I asked, again, through discovery.
No, I don't care. I've got the exam. Like I said, I mean,
And you're obviously gonna get everything we have at the end of this thing. So
believe me,
you just have to tell me what you want from me.
We would like
The call log.
the call log and text log from, I'd say, the night off. So that 10 p.m. when we knew they went to Brushwood. From 10 p.m. the night of the 30th until the time of the crash.
The end of September. I don't know. I wish you would have asked me last month, but they should at least preserve them. I think for 90 days.
Right. And again,
No.
to us, it's just gonna maybe is that we can't compel people, those who don't want to cooperate, and that's what the prosecutor is going to use his state power for.
And I don't.
I'm surprised at how uncooperative kids are in this matter.
Right.
Frankly, considering
She claims she gets threatened all the time. She claims that, nobody, basically the general position in the community is that she did this on purpose. She's texted me,
I mean, I don't know, you guys. Like, I want to be protective. I know some of you are going to get so mad at me. Don't, please. But like, she's trying to protect her son. He just got murdered. Even if she had anything to do with anything, like, I think she wants Kenzie convicted. She knows that this was not an accident. And so I'm just trying to remember that as well. She gave them print info. I wouldn't turn over my son's text if I were her either. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, in a sense, I would be protective as well. I want him to rest in peace. I mean, shit. She probably, she didn't have any idea of what he was going through. So I feel like I would be protective too. And no, I'm sorry, the audio you have to yeah, I'm sorry. I thought my ex was a narcissist, but Kenzie's on Lex. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Melly. Yeah.
I wouldn't do this on purpose. It's just, and that was when I didn't ever even bring this up. She's volunteered that. She's volunteered a lot of that.
I think she's getting a lot of that from that Hoosney Croy.
there's a group of kids who are very much upset, and I know because her mom called and she kept saying they're saying mean things. Well, I can't go after everybody.
Get off social media, lady. I mean, the mom was in the hospital. The first thing that she said to me when I called, I was hysterical after finding out, and she says, "Oh, are you calling about Facebook?" If I could have punched her and chucked through the phone,
We
I
went
would
there,
have.
and her biggest concern was what people.
She's talking about Natalie Shirilla. The first time she called, Natalie asked, "Are you talking about Facebook?"
I didn't ever even bring this up. She's volunteered that. She's
think-
volunteered a lot of that.
I think she's getting a lot of that from that Goosney Croy.
There's a group of kids who are very much upset, and I know because her mom called and she kept saying they're saying mean things. Well, I can't go after everybody.
Get off
saying
social
mean-
media,
Right.
lady.
You
I mean,
know,
the mom was in the hospital. The first thing that she said to me when I called, I was hysterical after finding out, and she says, "Oh, are you calling about Facebook?" If I could have punched her and chucked through the phone,
We
I
went
would
there,
have.
and her biggest concern was what people are posting on the Strongsville page, and can we intervene? And that was her biggest concern when we walked in.
So, I'm not saying she did it on purpose, but to me, there's just the pieces are not fitting in. We know the evidence. We've seen the video. We've seen all of it. It just does not add up.
And there's you guys, yeah, somebody, who was it? Wifey Mommy says, I mean, something happened from when they left the friend's house and got to the road. Something happened between. Yeah, I know. And we'll never know. We'll never know. And thank you, Amy Truth Ones. Thank you, Babelit, for gifting a membership. And Wifey Mommy got it. And that's awesome because Wifey Mommy does hang out here as YouTube selects randomly. So shout out to the both of you. And thank you, Amy.
So when I inquire about the suicide theory, there's a reason behind it. And I think in talking to Tim,
So are you meaning that Kenzie was trying to kill herself when you talked to Blair? Because Blair made it sound like you were acting like the three of them. And
no,
oh, okay.
no.
That he misunderstood.
Blair,
So the police said right there, nope, we don't think that's what she was trying to do. In other words,
was, I mean, you'll get to listen to the interview. But Blair was just not all there. I mean, first of all, I don't know if he's, the way he acted, if he's normally that way. Very, very reserved, very reluctant. He kept asking for specifics. And I said, well, describe the relationship between the two. What do you mean?
ooh, and Lisa Marie gifted one too. Thank you, Babelets. Thank you, thank you. Received a gift membership. Yes, I am going to be. We're going to be going hard on the membership stuff. Now that I have more time to stream during the week, so there'll be some stuff. I'm thinking of what I want to do for members. Something awesome. So thank you for gifting and welcome new members. Caitlin Shute, welcome to the Mellyverse.
Well, what were they like in public? Were they lovey-dovey? Did they argue? And well, give me more examples. Like he was very much coached into that interview. And his lawyer, when he said, when I noticed he wanted to say something, like he mentioned the name of a friend, Dom, one of Dom's good friends from Lakewood, Kyle something, Harper. I was like, well, can I get Kyle's information so I can give him a call? Well, his lawyer steps in, and so there was a lot. He was coached. It's obvious. I mean, I've done this long enough to know who's coached and who's genuinely trying to help the investigation.
Everyone's circling the cow. They're protecting themselves at this point.
Nobody's.
He wasn't even there.
I don't know. I don't know. I know the Shirillas have reached out to some of the kids, and including Landon Donovan, who was supposed to be, or Landon Turner, who's supposed to be Davion's best friend, and
He won't talk either.
nope. He's in college. He's playing football, and I called him once, and we set up an interview, and boom, it's been 6 or 7 calls that are, and so I told him we got to talk to him. Rosie Graham, we need to talk to her. She was at the party.
We're gonna go through all of these interviews too after Mr. Not today, but we're gonna do them.
He, asked. She had some texts going back and forth, so they were there. The people who were at the party need to answer some questions. Mackenzie's ex-boyfriend.
And what are they worried about? Were they doing drugs or something? They worried about they're going to incriminate themselves using drugs?
I don't know.
I mean, or even drinking? I guess under a big deal, underage consumption. What the hell? You're not going to go to prison for it.
Right. And we're,
And it's clear that it's like Mackenzie's people are the ones closing ranks.
Right.
And Dom's friends are the ones coming in here saying this is not right. This just
Dom
doesn't
and
make
Davion's
sense.
friends are,
Yeah,
with the
Davion's
exception of
too.
Blair, were fairly open.
Yeah.
So,
Right,
to me,
so they're
the
they're
theory,
doing
to me,
something, right.
you know, ultimately it's Tim's theory. It's not mine. My job is to collect data, the evidence, or the information, and give it to him. And
Yeah, but this Burlinghouse, what's the parents' name of this kid? You know?
I don't know, but they were in New York the night of the incident.
Well, the only reason is I'm wondering if it's the same Burlinghouse. There was a Burlinghouse from Middleburg, a whole family, and there was a bunch of Burlinghouses. There's like Dale and Jim Burlinghouse.
I don't recall.
That family.
I mean, I can pull it up, but
Well, I'm just curious because
they've
if they
lived in
want, if there's an
Strongsville for years.
alcohol issue, it doesn't matter that the Burlinghouses will have a history of huge.
I can tell you from the first
alcohol.
graduation party, there was no alcohol consumption. Like everybody was like, nope, all three of them showed up. They didn't smoke, they didn't drink, they hung out and left.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, which like I said, I couldn't see my son. I mean, who knows? Maybe he would, but like I said, he doesn't drink beer. Or
he
anything.
wasn't driving. So
Yeah,
even if he
But
was,
right. But I'm just saying, I didn't even wouldn't. That was the first thing. If they want to think about how I acted when the police came with Father Joe, I just said I'm just shocked that they not much drinkers. Like I just assumed it was an OBI accident in the beginning. Do you know what I mean?
and this is to us, this is what Jason and I are struggling with, and I kind of, I wish I could give you a better answer, but until we look at her blood, it just doesn't look like an OVI crash to me. To me, and so I'm not trying to create a theory from nothing. But the reason I'm asking about the suicide and the mental health is because when we discussed this case with Tim, just OVI by itself doesn't fit.
Right. Well, it doesn't. And I don't think that Dom and Kenzie would make some sort of suicide pact. And if they did, he wouldn't have done it with Davion in the car and killed that kid.
And I don't think.
Oh my gosh. So there we go. The whole Davion thing. Like, why was Davion in the car? And Davion and Dom both texted, I love you text messages. But you guys, the speed, did they have time? Say that they're beginning of the road and Kenzie says, I'm going to kill us all. Fuck you. That like, she goes crazy, right? Do they have time to text, I love you. I love you. Like, think about it. 100 miles per hour. They knew they were going to die. I just don't know if they had time to text. I don't know. They knew they were going to die, says Green Eye. Davion was giving Dom strength, in my opinion. Wifey mommy says, no, they don't have time. I love you to who? Davion texted, I think, his dad or brother. And then I think Dom texted his dad. There was something that happened at that house. I feel it in my gut when they say when Kenzie said she woke up and Dom wasn't there. I just feel like it started at the house clearly.
Dom would have made that
they had
suicide
reservations
pact.
for her birthday. He had steaks he had bought.
He wasn't wearing a
There
seatbelt.
wasn't.
Right. He wasn't wearing a seatbelt. But I can put your mind at ease in that Dom was at no point did he reach over based on what our officers saw when they got there. So even if somebody tries to say, you know, Dom caused it, no way.
Okay, so if it was at the house where they sent the I love yous, that's even worse than it solidifies what I just said, that the drama started at the house. Something happened at that house. And could one of the friends know and is keeping it to themselves? Absolutely, you guys. One of those people there, Rosie, Bubba, we're going to be hearing all these interviews. Someone like just someone could be lying here too. Like someone could have known something and just won't say anything. I mean, that's also a possibility, you know, as a friend as to what was going on there. Why did they get in the car then? That's right. If they were fighting and something bad was going on. Why would they text before they left though? Exactly. See what I mean? Patty says Rosie's shady.
No way. I mean, we have multiple officers and body cams. No way.
Right, and I just wished it, why wouldn't Davion punch her in the head? And that was the thing, that was another thing that I had told Tuesday. I said, Don has never, ever laid a hand on that little girl, okay? She has, you know, he'll walk outside, anything. He does not touch, okay? And I said, I just wish he would have somebody would have punched her in the head and I wish Davion would have, somebody. What the hell are you doing?
And you're right, because I've gone through her phone, like I've just dove into her phone and I've dove into her and Dom. And when they argue, she was more the antagonizer and he was more like, oh, you're breaking up with me? Okay, cool. Deuces. Like,
We see that. We back him up. He's already seen the text that we're watching, you guys, or that we read through.
he was definitely more laid back and definitely more like, don't talk to me, you're mad at me, and then she'd keep going and keep going. And we couldn't figure out if that was the teenage girl in her, like obsessed with the older guy type deal, or if it was literally a mental issue that
her driving, there's video, she records herself driving high speeds, she's constantly TikToking and Snapchatting.
filming herself while driving.
Right. And
At high speeds, which is what Blair told me. That's all Blair had to tell you guys,
Right.
was that he knows that she would drive fast and reckless, okay? Again, I mean, I don't know. My son Ange thinks she's absolutely the devil. He thinks.
Well, Angelo's right. And you know what? I do believe what's done in the dark will come to light, whether it takes 50 years, 5 days, 5 minutes, 5 weeks. I'm very much believe that. Someone is going to slip one day. Yes. Amy says, why did she only ask the paramedics about Davion? She obviously had beef still with Dom, or she was trying to just kill Dom, and Davion was in the wrong place at the wrong time. We need to open. Yeah, we do. Patty, everyone at Mellyverse, I'll hire all of you because we are all really good at this. An investigation for
I think
think
we're going to make it a point to talk to him next week in the evening someday and just kind of.
It doesn't have to be the evening. I mean, just give him a chance. 1 or 2 o'clock.
Whenever he
just
wants.
long as
I mean,
it's not
would he
Thursday.
feel more comfortable here or at the house?
I'll ask him.
Okay.
I mean, if he wants me to come with
Yeah,
him,
we'll give him a call. We are interested in the relationship, really. But I want you to know deep down why we're asking those questions is
I know,
because
because you want to put together a solid case, because my son, Angela thinks she needs to go to prison. He is absolutely positive, says that she needs to go to prison.
Well, and as well, probably better than we do, what we're battling here with the juvenile court versus 3 days later she's an adult.
Well,
versus...
I'd like to see who we pull, because I'll file an affidavit of prejudice with the Supreme Court, because I practiced in most of those courts.
She's like, don't even try me.
It's one of
I'd
Tim's
rather get
biggest.
some retired judge from Southern Ohio, some Republican judge that would, not to say, I love our Democratic judges in Cuyahoga, but they're Democratic because that's how they get elected. I mean, do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
In Cuyahoga,
We get the game.
Yeah.
depending on the theory that we're able to help put together, the evidence that we're going to put together, if we can force a mandatory bind over as opposed to leaving it up to a judge, that's another thing that we're looking at. So the reason we're looking at all of her social media is to show, although she was 17, she's been living like an adult. And that's why I asked you if she'd
I
been
would
staying
say
at the house.
absolutely, and I would say that for sure her senior year, because she was at my house every day.
Did she ever have a job, do you know?
And you guys think about it. They read through the evidence text. They read through everything. If Miss Russo was in the wrong, which a lot of you think she was in some aspects, and as do I, but we're not victim blaming here, but they would have charged her, right? Or something, like if they really thought their parents were responsible, which I think they should be. I think definitely not Shirilla, because she was the one who was like giving relationship advice. As for Miss Russo, they know Miss Russo's leaving things out. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at, is they already know that and they have already gone through stuff. So.
Oh, yes, I do know this. And my friend Loretta looked into this. So she worked at Pulp at the top of the street. She worked at, I think, Taco Bell.
Wasn't it
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin', I know she was, yeah.
They fired her at Dunkin' Donuts. Now, if you talk to her employers, Loretta went in there and got the coffee or whatever and said, oh, I never knew this girl worked here or whatever, because Loretta goes there every day. She said, oh, that girl was horrible. She was nasty to customers. She was rude. She was all these things.
Okay.
And so she may have been putting on a nice facade for all of us and her innocent stuff. But I think it was Taco Bell, McDonald's or Wendy's. She's gotten fired from 4 or 5 jobs. Okay. And I know for a fact the last one, because Loretta just went there, you could talk to them, that she was horrible. It was either Pulp or Bippity Bop. I don't know. Is that Pulp still there?
Yeah.
At the top of the street?
Right.
They said that she was rude and nasty to customers too. So I know those 2 places for sure. I don't know.
Well,
about
we
it.
can from
And
her.
she had those. She
And
had
I
those
know-
jobs when she was like 16.
And I know the Duncan one's right, because there's some text with her and the boss going back and forth, so that one is right on the money. I didn't know about Pulp, and we can look into some of those.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's either one of the other fast foods.
Yeah,
Okay, we
yeah,
only got
yeah.
what, McDonald's, Wendy's, or
Right.
Taco Bell.
Right,
So
okay.
one of those 3, but Pulp for sure. It wasn't Bippity Bop, it was Pulp. And
Thank you, Ms. Russo. We know from the text Kenzie couldn't keep a job because she went in there showing her butt, smelling like weed and cussing everyone out, and had dirty nails.
and they got rid of her too, for, again, customer issues. And so,
Dom seemed to do pretty good by himself. Did he give her money a lot?
I don't know.
There was an argument about when he threatened her with civil court because she
That was
bought
after that car
something.
thing.
She bought something that Dom gave her money for, but I guess maybe she didn't have permission because it wasn't clear from the
text. Yeah.
from the text. But they kind of went back and forth.
That was after that. He said that she needs to give me the money back. And I don't. Again, this is the end of July. I know there was something about
Yeah, July
the
2020.
birthday gift, and I remember them fighting. Okay, he was on his phone trying to order her a purse or something, and he was sitting there, and he goes, "Yeah, she's just gotta look at my phone. She's gotta look at my phone and see everything I'm doing." He goes, "I'm just trying to order a damn birthday gift." Blah blah blah, and she had to look at it and see, and he was all pissed off because he couldn't surprise her with it. Then the night of that thing, he did bring up the fact that there was money given to her, that he wanted the money back because maybe, and it might have been had to do with not being able to order the purse. Just said, fine, well then take the money that I was gonna pay for the purse or something like that. Angela maybe be able to clarify that a
Okay.
little bit more. Again,
Was
you
there
know.
I thought she didn't know. Yeah, I'm with you guys. And we know Dom fully funded her financially. Kenzie bought her everything.
issue between Dom and Mackenzie's mom, Natalie? Threats or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. So here she says Dom threatened. He bought me this one outfit yesterday, and now he's saying he's going to take me to civil court. And then you told her not to worry about it. He caters to you. I think he just needs something back.
That's why I asked. It seemed like he catered to her a lot.
Right.
They were
Well,
always
that's
going
what I
out
said.
to
What do you do?
eat.
Yeah,
They were
what do you do for him? Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Was
Right.
my thing. Like, he waits on you hand and full. What are you doing for him? I did start that a lot lately.
Yeah,
So,
no, and
yeah.
you actually have a text in there that I know that said, "What have you done for him?"
Right.
It goes both ways.
And
So,
so
you're right on the money with
We
that.
knew he was taking care of her financially too, supporting her, which just goes along to show. Is there anything you wanted to know about the investigation that maybe we can help shed some light, put your mind at ease? Anything you're curious about?
No, I guess
We
not.
are about a week or 2 out before I think we get the
I
talks
talked
back.
to the ME's office, and I think they said 2 more weeks, and that
Yeah.
was a week and a half ago. So
So
10 to 14
as soon as we
days.
get that,
And I'm gonna tell you, I wouldn't be worried about Jimmy McDonald. Jimmy McDonald's a nice guy, hopefully. But is somebody gonna hear this?
No,
Okay, this isn't gonna be used as evidence.
no.
I don't even know last time the guy's tried a case. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you that. He's Nancy McDonald's brother. I think he would get plea deals. He's a prosecutor. He's just making his money, getting his PRS. I mean, he's not really a go-getter type.
Well, and
So-
especially in something like this, they're going to be searching for a plea deal.
I think that's exactly what they're gonna do.
But we're
well, thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Wow, wow, wow. I am so glad I'm revisiting these after 32,000 pages of text messages because it's wild. It's wild, really. Um, so a few things. Dom and Davion are the victims. Kenzie's a stinky girl doing jail time for this, prison time. No parent is perfect. I'm not a parent. Miss Russo and Natalie, no parent is perfect. I think they all knew what was going on. Maybe some things no, maybe some things yes. At the end of the day, we can debate all day long and argue and discuss about who did things right and who didn't. And the only reason why I think Natalie's a piece of shit is because she's the one who was giving Kenzie advice. You know, we didn't see in those text messages Miss Russo butting into the relationship. And now we know that maybe she didn't know everything. So there's a lot here. There's a lot to unpack as we listen to these interviews after the text messages. And I think as we review the rest of the text messages, we're going to feel even more like, wait, what? Because there's still a lot we have to go through. I want to almost revisit all of it after the text messages. So if you're a new viewer, a replay viewer, you don't know about the case, I have a playlist. I think there's 60 videos on there of case stuff and text messages. And we are going to, I believe Mr. Stowe only did one interview. We are going to play a lot of the body cam footage as well. And I do have a live scheduled for Steve Shirilla's text messages. So we're going to continue to dig into this case. Mackenzie is up for parole in 2037, babelets. So like 10, 11 years from now, nobody worry. She ain't going to be driving around. So exactly, no one's perfect. And my heart does go out to everyone involved in the situation, the good and the bad people. I mean, that's just the type of person I am, you know. That's pretty wild. So with that being said, take out your planners, please write down. We will be back later with either the Steve Shirilla text message reading tonight or Amelie After Dark. So either one, turn on your notifications. Tomorrow, I will be live all day. I have a new case for you guys, kind of just like the Anna Kepner one today. If you missed that live, please go replay and watch. Give it a like. I'm really into the Anna Kepner case. If you don't know who Anna Kepner is, she is the 18-year-old who was found dead on the cruise ship. So definitely make sure you check that out. Jesselyn says, no one is perfect. Don and Davian are victims. Yeah. Saying that both parents should have been involved. Exactly. I'll be back later tonight. So as much as you guys thought you would see me tomorrow, you'll see me tonight. You deserve a medal for reading all. No, I'm glad. I could have read them at home by myself. And I think reading them online was really good for those of us that are really, you know, involved in this case. And so I'm interested to see how the X interview and all of that. So I don't have the text with Davion. There was only like a few. I'll try to see if I can get them, but we're definitely going to cover everything else I have. So Melanie puts so much into context. Yes, Steve, please. Okay. We will chase you. Tom's mom is a victim too. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. And my heart breaks for her. And Davion's parents as well. So, oh no, Patty says she's in Ohio. Stay away from the stinky. Okay, you've done a nice job covering the story. Thank you, Tiff. Thank you. Thank you, babelets. Hit that like button on the way out. I'm going to eat some dinner and then I will be back with you guys. We'll continue either the true crime or it's going to be one of those nights where it's buzzballs. So you have been warned. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here and I will see you guys on the next one.